Hey everybody, hello and late good evening to all of you. This is Dianne, one half of Biters.
And this is Marnell, and the episode you have all been waiting for, where we both eat crow.
And we both actually enjoyed both shows at the same time.
Yeah. Way to bring up your average Walking Dead world.
World Beyond.
But, well,
Both
Walking
of them.
Dead universe.
Yeah, Walking Dead universe, yeah. I mean, I'm going to spoiler alert things right now and say that this probably wasn't my favorite episode of Fear this season, but it was still a pretty good episode.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and there's a lot to talk about.
There is a lot to talk about, and I think we've decided that we're going to mix it up and talk about Fear first.
Which is funny, because we chose somebody from World Beyond cast to be our...
That's all right. I mean, we've been kind of floating back and forth, and, you know...
We're all over the map.
We are. Plus, anyone who listened to our Code Black podcast this week, which I actually have not gotten it up yet, our Real Housewives of Alaska podcast, knows that I may actually be finally having the real deal and I may have a COVID infection. So I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. So we really probably are going to be all over the map because I'm exhausted and I don't feel very good.
Yeah. And you're also, like, I kind of feel like you're like, did I tell you that?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, I literally I've talked to Marnell. Did I talk to you Friday also?
We have
I think we've podcast, yeah.
Sunday, and it is now Monday and we are podcasting
So
again.
we've done 3 podcasts and I'm pretty sure that I actually called you on Friday and said, you are not going to believe the story I have to tell you about my COVID exposure.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Literally, I talk to you more than my other half who I live in the same house with.
Yeah, so, I mean, I really am at the point where I'm like, did I say that to you already?
Right, and, like, you probably told this story so many times now that you're like, who have I not told?
Oh, my God. And I have to be really mindful about what I say because the circumstances are so problematic. And I don't know for sure that I have it. I'm going in and getting tested tomorrow, but I have
all the same symptoms.
I have all the same symptoms of my positive exposure. So, yeah.
Have you tried to taste anything crazy?
You know, I haven't. My appetite has been off.
Oh, I should totally order you some Hail Satan hot sauce.
You are horrible.
To go with your Imagine Biscuit hoodie and the cat toy I just bought both of your cats.
Oh my God. You are so funny.
I did. Like, there are these animals that, like, you can put the thingy with the rice inside of it in the microwave to make the toy. It's a cuddle toy. It makes it warm. And then it's activated by, like, your cat, like, moving and, like, you know, like, stepping on it or cuddling with it. And it actually purrs.
Oh, my God. That's supposed to be sweet.
This very relaxing. I'll have to send you the TikTok video that inspired me.
Oh, my God. That is so sweet. Well, I bought something for you that hopefully it's as cool as I think it's going to be, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. So. All right. So we're going to start with a few numbers. We will talk about our featured cast. There is a little bit of Walking Dead news, just a little tiny bit. And then I think we've kind of already done our Housewives housekeeping. Unless you have something else that you want to throw in at the right time there.
No. Like, if you do live in Alaska with us and listen, the bears are still out.
Oh my God, right?
Yeah.
I didn't... When did that happen?
This Saturday, I think? An Alaska Airlines plane ran one over on Sunday when they landed.
I saw that you posted that. I saw that Steve had reacted to a whole bunch of things on Facebook, and I was like, what? And then I got online and I was like, what?
Yeah, bear strike.
Which city did it happen in? I didn't read the article.
Oh, it was. I think it was Klawock.
Oh my goodness.
But
Okay.
I didn't think Alaska Airlines flew into Klawock.
Klawock is
They
not a
do.
city, just so everybody knows. I take back the word city. I'm sorry.
But like this is only the second most craziest thing that an Alaska Airlines jet has been taken down by in Alaska. Alaska Airlines actually had a fish strike, not a bird strike, a fish strike in 1987.
Oh my God, I don't remember that at all.
So the fish actually was dropped from an eagle. So, lost dinner to the plane. But that's just so Alaskan, Fish strike on plane because of eagle. And now we have like, oh crap, I ran over a bear. And, moose and elk and deer and everything get run over on our runways actually quite a bit. And I mean, it's so common that you don't actually even hear about it. But this is the first time a bear, because they actually have mitigation techniques to clear our runways. We have a dog, and then we have a kind of a firecracker system, and there's somebody out there when the plane comes in with like funnily enough, something that they used in World Beyond. They have the night vision where you can see the infrared stuff.
Right.
And, they did see the bears near the runway, but they were not on the runway until the landing. And they missed them with the wheel under the nose, and it was one of the back tires that hit it.
So it was in Yakutat,
Okay.
which also is not a city, just in case anyone's curious. And sadly enough, so the sow, the mama bear, got killed, and it looks like she had a cub that they thought was about 2 years old with her, and the cub was not injured. Fortunately, it wasn't this year's cub, so at least it has a fair chance of survival.
Yeah. Yep. If he's got enough weight on him and he knows to go to sleep soon enough, he might make it.
All right, so that's the Alaska update. So we're actually tonight podcasting about The World Beyond Season 1, Episode 7, called Truth or Dare. And we are podcasting about Fear Season 6, Episode 6, Bury Her Next to Jasper's Leg. So, I have to say, I'm just going to say it now, I love that title, and I love the line that it came from, and I didn't think I would, but I did.
I thought it was funny and interesting, but I'm also where are the prophetic, like, extra meaningful titles nowadays? I feel like they used to convey a message, and now it's very literal. So I miss the ones that had a little bit of, but I think they kind of made up for it in something that was said later on. So we'll get into that.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure. Not sure what you're talking about. So that'll be interesting.
I had plenty of time to rewatch and make notes and look stuff up, and
so I will have to say I rewatched Fear. I didn't have a chance to rewatch World Beyond because I had said I'm only going to watch World Beyond once because it is such an awful series. And I'm actually kind of regretting that I didn't have a chance to rewatch World Beyond this time.
So we podcasted until 10 last night, and I crawled in bed, and I actually didn't go straight to bed. I feel like I put World Beyond on and kind of watched it, in the background as I was getting ready for bed and everything. And I wasn't really paying attention to it. So that ended, and I put on Fear, and I fell asleep to Fear the Walking Dead at some point. So like I was kind of like half asleep, and then I fell asleep, and so like I kind of had a first watch, and so
that doesn't really count.
I wound up, tonight watching them with the other half and taking my notes, and then I didn't feel like I took enough notes for Fear the Walking Dead, so I went and watched it again.
Because you had plenty of time, because your sister was engaged doing other things. I have to tell you, speaking of like listening to things and having to re-listen, so after we podcasted with Capes and Lunatics on Saturday, Jamie and I had talked about the Max Brooks novel that just came out called Devolution. And I downloaded it as an Audible book, and I thought, this will be fine. I'll put it on sleep timer for a half an hour. I won't fall asleep before I hear the first part of the story. I fell asleep. And the bit that I remember and the bit that I listened to was really good. So I'm like, great, I'm just going to have to not listen to Audible when I'm falling asleep anymore because I can't keep track of it.
Yeah.
So I have to go back and start it over again. Unfortunately, I was only half an hour into the book, but so far it's good.
I have actually been falling to sleep to YouTube videos of like that special music that's like reverberates at such and such megahertz that it's supposed to help you be calmer and sleep deeper and all that kind of stuff. So
okay, so I literally have been getting ads for this thing on Facebook that's supposed to help you process through a panic attack, and it's like a it basically does metered breathing with you, like breathing exercises with you, and it's kind of designed like an inhaler. And then I clicked on Shop Now because I was seriously tempted. I am not spending $175 on that thing.
No.
I can do 4, 7, 8 breathing by myself if I really need to.
Well, and there was funny, I was watching a TikTok video.
Of course
shocking,
you were.
that a guy had the little packets of salt from like McDonald's, and he's like, wherever you find these, take some and carry them with you everywhere. And if you ever find yourself in a panic attack, he's just crack one open and pour it on your tongue. And what it does is it disrupts your brain from being in that panic attack mode. And all of a sudden it's in this, I have this taste, this sour, salty taste on my tongue. And I need to go find water to wash this taste out of my, so like not only does it like instantly pull you out of your panic attack, but it keeps you busy so that you don't go back into it or think about it. And I was like, interesting.
Yeah, not sure I'm going to try that, but okay. All right. Yeah. We're totally off our rails, but I'm going to let you say what you're going to say before we get back on the rails.
If you've ever seen me try and find anything the size of my car keys in my purse, I'm not going to find a little packet of stuff.
Especially if you're panicking.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so I have numbers from last week. Honey had 1.24 million views, which was down from 1.28 million views the previous week. Shadow Puppets had 0.73 million views, which was down from 0.74. So they basically both held pretty steady.
Yeah.
I hope for the sake of the Walking Dead universe and the world beyond that this episode that we're talking about tonight is a preview of what's to come.
Heck yeah.
I hope that people are still willing to give it a chance. I can't believe I'm saying that. We'll see if it actually holds true.
So the numbers went down slightly, and I think last week we were talking about...
The numbers had gone down quite a bit from the week prior, so they went down 25% from the week prior.
Yeah. And we were still dealing with, like, election stuff last week, so...
Oh, that is an interesting point. So...
Yeah.
Are they steady because people are no longer pulled away looking at election stuff, or are they steady because this is just where they're going to gel out for the rest of the season?
I really think this is where they're going to gel out because
I think you're probably right.
We are headed into a lockdown. And
the holidays, whatever they may look like for people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, people have begun panic buying toilet paper again.
So we're not out of toilet paper up here yet, but the canned dog food shelves were almost clear. I only know this because I got pictures from the person who did my Instacart tonight. And we're out of paper towels again, although you said you haven't had paper towels for months.
Yeah, we haven't had paper towels in Juneau for months.
Crazy.
And not just the ones I buy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I heard the other day that people were already, there was the Million MAGA March on Saturday, and then there's supposed to be a trucker strike that's coming up. So people are freaking out about supply and demand and civil war and all these other things. And of course, what do? When we're stressed out, we panic buy toilet paper.
And paper towels, apparently. And dog food.
Well, I did point out that last time, if you have a decent like septic, whether you're on city or you have a tank or whatever, there are other things that can serve as toilet paper. You'll be fine.
But neither one of us is licensed plumbers, so don't take what either of the Real Housewives has to say.
No, I do have 2 new toilets that I need to install sitting in my garage where I'm like, maybe I should return those and get bidets.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. All right, let's keep going. We're never going to get through these.
Never going to get there.
All right, so our featured cast, we both agreed, was...
So you know her as Annette Mahendru.
I think that's right. I think that's how I would say it too.
Her real name is Anita Devi.
No way. No, I think it's the other way around, because when you look, I think her stage name is probably Anita Devi. And the reason that I say that is because she was born in Kabul, Afghanistan.
Right.
And mom is Russian and dad is Indian.
Yep.
So I believe sincerely that her given name is Annette Mahendru, and her stage name is probably Anita Devi.
Really?
Really. Annette Mahendru is totally an Indian. That last name is an Indian name. Totally.
Right. Like, she goes by Annette Mahendru, but she's Anita Devi Mahendru.
Yeah, I don't know. No. I think it's probably Annette Mahendru. I think that's probably her given name. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Anyway, well, it's Huck. It's Huck. We're talking about Huck. And I think said, oh, go ahead.
She was born in Kabul, Afghanistan.
And I think we both finally like Huck. We both are finally on the same page, right?
I'm super good with Huck.
We're team Huck right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's why I was not completely writing her off in the beginning, is because we didn't know her and we were just getting to know her.
And she was interesting. She just talked too much. She's not talking as much, and it's way better.
And I still believe that she is CRM. So I'm maintaining that.
I'm thinking that Steve is right there with you, sister.
So she was born into a family, a very mixed family. Her father is Indian and he is a journalist / professor. Her mother is Russian and she is a businesswoman / artist. She speaks 6 languages.
The actress speaks 6 languages. Yes. Totally amazing.
Russian, English, French, Parisian, Hindi, and German. That's amazing.
It's completely amazing.
So she has played competitive chess. She's
played competitive chess. We're not going to say anything about her chest.
Oh, man. The flub that I made earlier off mic
was pretty funny.
Way funnier, but it would get us an explicit label.
Yes, and we totally used up our explicit labels for the next several weeks yesterday when we did our Real Housewives podcast.
So she has a brown belt in karate. She has a Bachelor of Arts in English from St. John's University. She dropped out of NYU while seeking to get her master's degree. She moved to the West Coast and joined the Groundlings.
Oh, doesn't Mo Collins have a Groundlings connection? And who did we talk about this weekend? Just this week, Mike Myers.
Yeah,
right?
Yes. Yeah, I believe so.
Or am I wrong? We talked about somebody else really recently who had a connection to the Groundlings.
Yeah, they were our featured cast member because I happened to mention that Mo Collins was one of the Groundlings. So I am not going to, I might try and pronounce the dance that she does. You might do better at pronouncing it. Natyam, Bharata Natyam.
Not seeing it written in front of my face, I'm not even gonna try.
Okay, good. So Annette, at 11, Annette choreographed and performed a performance that gained her an appearance on German TV as a graceful Russian snow maiden that turns into a playful Indian dancer. She was sad
that would be so cool.
Yeah, like and she's the perfect actress for it. She's Indian and Russian. She was sad that her parents didn't sign her up for ballet classes as a little girl, so she joined a local rock and roll dance group and later began to study classical Indian dance. And it says the name of the dance, only they didn't put a space between it. So, but it's a traditional Indian dance. I figured since you kind of went into belly dancing for a while, you might have known, but yeah. So one of the other things that I loved about her, she has a quote that says, "When you're really having fun, you're always doing something a little bit in the way you're not supposed to do it. That is when great things happen."
So that completely sounds like a Marnell thing, and that completely sounds like a Huck thing, actually.
She said, "My dad is from India. My mom is from Russia. Fortunately, not unfortunately, fortunately, we moved a lot. I went to a lot of different schools and completely different cultures. So that's my background." So that's probably why she knows 6 languages.
She's gorgeous and brilliant.
She is amazing. So you can find her on Instagram at Annette Maharan. I can't say it.
Mahendru. I think you said it right the first time, and then I think you let yourself overthink it.
I did, and I'm trying to go too fast. And she has got some
Slow down. We're gonna be here for a while.
But there is so much.
I know.
She's got some great scenes from the sets of all of the things that she does, not just World Beyond. She's also on Facebook, where she's got some pictures, and it looks like her pinned tweet or pinned thing on Facebook is she is in a magazine called Regard Fall 2020. I'm sorry, that's her pinned tweet. And her top post on Facebook is she is in a magazine called Venice. So if you're a magazine person, pick those up. She looks amazing on both of them. And she is one of those few celebs that has a website.
Oh, very good.
Yes, you can find her at AnnetteMahendru.com. And it is kept very well up to date. It is user friendly. Her style is so beautiful. The picture that comes up first is just amazing. And then if you scroll further down, there is an amazing photo. There's probably 25 of them from the casts of the different shows. World Beyond, Fear, and Walking Dead. And it looks like they're on a red carpet event.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. And it's got it has some reviews around her. So, Roger and Ebert said, the .com, because of course one of them has passed. I can't remember.
I thought it was Rogers and Ebert.
Oh, okay. What is it? Roger and Ebert?
How much have you had to drink tonight?
I actually haven't had anything except...
I'm the one who should be having brain fog.
for my sleeping pill.
Oh, just your sleeping pill. Okay.
Just my sleeping pill. The Americans went from a good show to a great one, and the reason was the complex, challenging performance from Annette Mahendro as a woman who seemed like a pawn in the season, but then turn the tables in the second year. She's fantastic.
Yeah, she got great reviews.
Yeah, so she has continued to get a lot of great reviews, and she has been nominated for several awards. In 2014, she was nominated Critics' Choice Television Award for Best Supporting Actress in a Drama Series, The Americans. In 2016, she was nominated for The Americans again for Drama Guest Actress. Laugh and Die Comedy Fest in 2014, she was nominated for Best Actress at Long Beach International Film Festival. Nominated for Best Supporting Actress, Northern Film Festival US nominee for Best Supporting Actress in a Feature Film, and Television and Internet and Video Association of DC Peer Awards. She won in 2015 for Acting on Camera / Fiction Female Gold Award for her work on Sally Patchalook.
Haven't a clue.
I don't recognize the film, but she has been in quite a few things that I do recognize. So, I've never watched it, but she was in Entourage. She was in an episode of Torchwood Web of Lies, which is
I thought of you.
Which is a series. It's a spinoff from Doctor Who.
Yes.
Two Broke Girls, she had an episode. Mike and Molly, she had an episode. Blacklist, she had 2 episodes. And then The Following, which, I mean, if you've listened to the show, you know that I absolutely loved the television show The Following. Kevin Bacon was an FBI agent, and he was dealing with not one, but 2 wacky cults. So that was a really good show. It should have not gotten the ending that it got, but yeah, moving on. She was in an updated one of the X-Files that came out in 2015.
I have to stop you there because that was one of my favorite episodes from that season.
Really?
It was after X-Files had ended. There had been a couple of movies. We thought we would never hear from the X-Files again. And then they did a season, and it was like, what? And they did another season as a follow-up to that, which I believe that was season 11. But she was in My Struggle, which was one of the best episodes of the reboot of the X-Files.
That kind of makes me want to go back and watch them, because I specifically I was a huge fan of the series when I was younger.
And by the way, Gillian Anderson was interviewed on Fresh Air today, and she was amazing.
Because she's doing something with Margaret Thatcher. She's
doing The Crown.
Season 4?
Yeah. Crown Season 3, I believe. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I never did the follow-up show in the mid 2015s.
Oh, it was really good. It was very good.
The feature-length movie that was released into theaters was terrible.
I mean, completely disagree with you. I loved all of the X-Files films.
The very first one, I'm like, this could have been a 2-part series. This could have been a 1 hour this week to be continued 1 hour next week.
We are not going to argue about the X-Files because we will be here all night, literally. But it's worth watching the 2015 season 10. And I have to admit, I have not. I bought season 11 and never watched it. And I thought, I'm going to be quarantined and then I have 2 weeks off. Maybe it's time to watch X-Files.
You're going to catch up on all those books and all the shows.
Oh my God.
And all the podcasts.
I'll tell you, I literally, today I was like, I'm sick. I've been exposed. This was avoidable. I am not coming in this week. I can't go in anyway because I have to have a negative test. And even with a negative test, I would have to go and work in full PPE.
You're going to get to bond with your new cat. Yeah.
Which you and I talked about. I would look like an extra from the movie The Hot Zone.
Yes. Yes. And I would not be confident if my doctor came in full, like, CDC don't breathe on me garb.
Like in the ER, yes, that's appropriate. Yeah. It's not appropriate in primary care. Okay, sorry. Ranty. So, X-Files, yes. Two other things.
Shows that that have been on the list. I would love to watch. I don't find the time. Maybe I should get COVID. Shame on me.
Don't even say that. And knock on wood, mine is not. But I'm not going to guarantee that it's not.
The Americans and Tyrant. She had quite a few reoccurring roles on those. The Americans, she's in 42 episodes. Tyrant, she's in 8.
Well, and The Americans is the one that she got such rave reviews for that you read the review for earlier.
So she was in an episode of the Lethal Weapon series, which I have watched. She is in an episode of Prodigal Son, which I have watched. Which
we know our Tom Payne, our Walking Dead alum.
Mm-hmm. Good callback. I forgot about that.
Yes, absolutely.
So she has 3 things right now in post-production. So I don't know what that means for her filming a season 2 of World Beyond.
But what we do remember is that there's only 2 seasons of World Beyond, so...
Right. So I'm sorry, she has 2 things in post-production and 1 in pre-production. So she is super duper interesting, and she's a fierce talent. I mean...
And I'm super, super, super sorry that I was down on Huck a while ago, but God, she was talking way too much.
Yeah, and like to get her backstory and everything and kind of her little bonding moment with Hope, and I'm all about it now. Yep. I'm on the Huck train.
All right, so that takes us into Whisperer's Corner, which I will make very quick. First of all, the obvious Mountain Dew shout out in World Beyond. Apparently, there is a new marketing agreement between AMC and PepsiCo. So we have been told in the article that I read that we should expect more of these kinds of product placement in AMC shows. I was bummed out because it was so obvious.
Okay, Eric Kane had a lot to say about it.
Yeah, he actually said, and this was next on my list, this episode was brought to you by Mountain Dew. Interestingly enough, I did in the initial article that I read, it did say that they chose 2010 packaging for Mountain Dew. So which what?
Which
actually
just so happened to find.
Yeah, so that we're thinking we're all assuming that the night the sky fell was in 2010 because that's when the first episode of the original series came out was in 2010. But anyway, yeah.
So I don't mind product placement when they're well done.
This was almost a Wayne's World kind of product placement moment, though.
You know, I guess maybe I'm just so used to it that like I was just they were having a genuine conversation that people have had about.
Oh no! But seriously, he was like, "I love Mountain Dew so much."
But this is like something like you'd buy your friends like the Crystal Pepsi off of eBay that's like a bajillion years old now.
Who would do that?
And I know. And like I get it. And people do like you have people like me who I'm like, why would anyone ever drink that? And then you have people that's like the only thing that they drink. There is almost no in between. And so apparently Felix was one of those that drank it all the time. And so, I mean, it was a nice callback. You know, Huck had just brought Silas the boots, and she brought Felix the Mountain Dew. I thought it was a little weird that he was like, "Is this for real?" I was like, "No, dude, she peed in a bottle and is giving to you." Like, what? Why would you ask that?
And see, I totally thought that she brought him some really good booze. But, you know.
Yeah.
All right, so you basically said what I was going to say about Eric Kane, which is that he had a lot to say about the Mountain Dew placement, and he basically said that World Beyond is a total mixed bag, where, like, 1 minute it goes at a snail's pace, and then something really interesting happens. And I would say, overall, we've been at a snail's pace, but this episode, something really interesting happened. Multiple times.
See? I told you the addition of the 2 new characters and we were going to start speeding along.
I guess, man. All right, so a reference that happened in this episode of World Beyond was a reference to the origin of the zombie virus. Did you catch it?
I did catch it.
So
one of the Marines.
Owens, who was one of the Marines, said that it was a space virus, and that was actually what Robert Kirkman jokingly said earlier this year about the origins of the zombie virus. So,
yep,
you know, it was kind of a call out to that. There was an interview with Annette Mahendru, and she said, "We are totally the lead up to the movies. We are totally going right up to the end with CRM, and that'll lead right on into the movies."
Oh,
so
interesting.
I thought that was very interesting. The only other thing that I had in Whisperer's Corner was another nod to the Eric Kane reviews. He basically said that the twist at the end of Fear was completely ridiculous, and we'll talk about the twist.
We will, because I had a hard time. Because you know that we both immediately watched Fear the Walking Dead and then went straight to the computer and had to know exactly what Eric Kane had to say about June performing an appendectomy.
Oh, that's not even the ridiculous twist. He was talking about
No.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
But I was just like, oh man, is he gonna draw down on June again about
all right,
nurses can't do that?
You know what? I am gonna go Full Metal Jacket on the medical stuff in Fear, so just be prepared. Because it was a nightmare. Okay. It was a horrible nightmare. All right.
I have a question for you. Would you rather receive an appendectomy and like one where you're not like already like gangrenous and septic and everything that you'll probably survive, you know, would you rather have June do an appendectomy on you, or would you rather have veterinarian Herschel remove a bullet from you? See where I'm going with this?
I don't have a good answer for that.
Yeah,
but I'm going to tell you, and we are going to talk about all of the medical stuff that happened in this episode of Fear, because it was not good.
I'm just saying nobody gave Herschel crap.
Well, Lori did say, "You're a vet?" or something of the like. She was horrified when she realized that a veterinarian was her son's only option for surgery. All right, we're going to talk about Fear the Walking Dead, bury her next to Jasper's leg first. So how did you rate it?
I am on the wrong page.
I know, because you were expecting to do World Beyond first, and so was I. So we're mixing it up a little bit.
So I rated it a 4.6 Freddy Krueger walkers.
Oh, I like that rating.
I actually just had the creepiest Freddy Krueger nightmare. Yes, I am an adult, and Freddy Krueger still gives me nightmares. It's the only thing that will make me get out of bed and turn the light on and, like, not be able to go back to sleep. Still there. Totally traumatized this child.
That's so funny. I haven't watched that. I haven't watched that in years.
To have, like, somebody go to all of the trouble of like holding a walker down long enough to strap little razor blades to their hands so they're even more deadly and infectious.
Mm-hmm.
That's the stuff of nightmares. So what was your rating?
Well, my rating was a little bit lower. It was still a solid B, but I gave it 4.127 tattered medical textbooks out of 5. And believe me, I'm still shuffling around a bunch of those tattered medical textbooks, and I'm like, why do I even keep these? It's all on my phone now.
Because if the zombie apocalypse happens,
there you
you're not
go.
gonna have your phone.
All right, that's a fair... Okay. You just made up my mind that I'm not going to throw away all those books that I was going to throw away. I don't know where I'm going to put them, but I'm not going to throw them away.
Wherever you do put them someplace where mice won't get to them.
Oh, God. Enough with the mice already. Thanks a lot. I really needed that reminder. My traps aren't here yet.
Oh.
And my cats are slackers. And Koba hasn't killed any either, so I don't know what's going on. All right, so just very quickly, our writer for this episode of Fear the Walking Dead was Alex Delisle. Alex has written 5 episodes of Fear the Walking Dead. This one, You're Still Here, The Hurt That Will Happen, The Code, and Buried. And the only other thing that she's been credited for writing was a short called Puppy Dreams.
Yeah, we've talked to her about her before.
We have, because she's written several other episodes. And then our director was Sharat Raju. I hope that I am not completely slaughtering his name. And we have also talked about him before because he directed this episode of Fear, The Little Prince, and Blackjack, which we both really liked Blackjack. We recently talked about him for The World Beyond because he directed The Tiger and the Lamb. And then he has directed 1 episode in the Prime series, What We Become. And he's directed a whole bunch of other stuff like Once Upon a Time, NCIS, Criminal Minds, Law and Order. So he's done a lot of stuff.
Designated Survivor.
Yeah.
Which I watched season 1. It was really good.
Not my bag, not up my alley. So, not my bag, baby.
I love me some Kiefer Sutherland. So he will forever be my Lost Boy vampire boyfriend who doesn't sparkle.
Oh my God, that is so funny. So my probably favorite Kiefer Sutherland memory is Flatliners.
Flatliners, yeah. Like I said, do not watch the updated version.
Oh, I won't.
It's awesome.
No.
Mm-mm.
All right, so that gets us to our goods, bads, and uglies.
Why don't you go first with your good?
I'm gonna go first because I haven't for a long time. So
right.
My good was actually the end. So I loved the music. I loved that overhead view of John Dory taking the fork in the road.
God darn it, that was my ugly, and it was a good ugly.
And it was freaking heartbreaking.
Yes.
But you knew it was coming.
But yeah, you're right. That overhead visual of just them taking separate forks in the road was
so
just...
honest to God, what I wrote down was the music, the visual. This is prime Walking Dead. This is Walking Dead at its best.
Yep. You and I are not normally like cinematography snobs or anything like that. There are a few things in episodes of shows that we watch and, of course, podcast about that stand out. For me, I think probably not a lot will ever beat the one-shot fight in Preacher. Wow. I just loved that because it was so authentic and
you are definitely a bigger cinematography snob than I am because I wouldn't have known that style of filming and I wouldn't have known the terminology for it. So, points for you, and you're way like classier in Diana and Steve's eyes because you know stuff like that.
There's another really good one that's right up there in Atomic Blonde. Same thing. It's a one shot and it's a fight scene. So, yeah, love it. But yeah, I was like, okay, this isn't for me. It's not big enough to be my good, so it's going to be my good ugly.
Oh, see, so I always think of uglies as being bigger. That is so funny that we have podcasted together for so long. I think of, good, okay, good, bad, okay, bad, ugly, this is huge, whether it's a good ugly or a bad ugly.
I just thought it was kind of a free pass at,
oh my god, that is so funny.
At a good or bad.
That is so funny.
That is hilarious.
All right. Well, so what was your good?
So my good is we are really starting to pick up the pace on what the heck is going on with Jenny and these spray paint people, and there was a ton of hints dropped this episode. So, I mean, for one, we have seen 2 women willingly go to their deaths practically with a smile on their face, like, just because, like, Ginny is so awful. And this one, I mean, I don't know if Janet was part of this kind of cult. It kind of seemed
Janice.
like Janice, she just wanted to get away from Ginny after her boyfriend died. So, but this one was just like, nope, I'm going to the grave with what I know, and it's coming for you, and it's big, and we're everywhere. I just kind of had this feeling that Jenny has been talking about, like, building an army against this whatever. And so we find out.
And that woman's line was, it's about what you're building. It's about the future.
Yes.
That's very ominous. What does it mean? What does it mean?
It's not about you, any of you. It's about the future and what you're building. And so, it's not just the 2 guys that we kept seeing in the first couple of episodes with the spray paint that are,
it's
that died.
Clearly much bigger.
Right. And Jenny, like, is so freaked out that she tripled production in Tanktown. So she knows something is coming. And just the other side of it. I mean, these people are sabotaging Tanktown, and they're wrapping razor blades around walkers' fingers, and like, who are these people, and, like, how does Jenny know about them? And I almost feel like Jenny knows her adversary. Like, something happened, and her and somebody else split off, husband, friend, mother, like, whatever, even just like somebody she started out doing the Pioneer stuff with. Split off.
Now that's an interesting theory.
I also, when she was talking to June, and she was like, would you please just take care of Dakota? I've never loved anyone more in my life, and you have no idea what it's like to love someone, not be able to help them. And June's like, yes, I do. And and she's like, all I've ever wanted to do was protect her. And, that's just been everything that I've ever done, is to protect her. And I'm like, something really terrible happened to Ginny at one point, and that's why she is the way she is. And she's so protective of her little sister, because she doesn't want her little sister to go through that. And what, as women, do we all fear is going to happen to us when society breaks down? I really think there is something traumatic, and Jenny knows who's out there. Like,
so you are making Jenny a much more sympathetic figure than I would.
I really started to like her, not like her, but like I disliked her less this episode. There was a couple of times that I'll get into where it was the old Jenny, and I'm like, really? But overall, I think her character is improving, as I think we get a backstory. But I don't think she's sticking around. And the reason why I don't think she's sticking around is unless they give her some sort of prosthetic thing like they did to Erin to hide the fact that she now is down one hand.
They can totally do that.
It is. It's just a really annoying thing to constantly have to deal with.
They can totally do that.
Yeah, I know. But I don't think she's sticking around until after, till the end of this season. I think it'll be the final fight or whatever, and Jenny dies. But yeah, so I love that we're really, really ramping up to something.
All right. My bad.
You're bad.
I am going to be that person. I'm so sorry. I'm apologizing to all of you now, and I know that I've been obnoxious in the past about medical stuff, but oh my God. All right. First of all,
this is like watching a movie or a show and having a gun aficionado in the room. Just saying.
I'm telling you, man, though, it's killing me because they're being sloppy, and they don't have to be sloppy because there are plenty of doctors, nurses, nurse practitioners, physician assistants out there who, for a very small consulting fee, would be happy to talk to them about how they should actually do these things. So I'm just going to say very quickly, first of all, medical geek alert, when you are going into shock, as bad as that guy's shock was, yes, the heart rate stuff was accurate. His heart rate would shoot up. His blood pressure should be super low, not super high. Midazolam makes you happy and sleepy. It does not act like anesthesia. If you have given enough midazolam that it's like anesthesia, you're bagging your patient and you're panicking because you shouldn't be giving that much midazolam. I'm gonna say, once again, they were uber sloppy about the burn injuries, and I just didn't like the way they handled June kind of walking through the crowd going, put a dressing on that, and flush that, and blah, blah, blah. I didn't like it. Very good. 0 stars. Do not recommend. And they were really sloppy with the whole antibiotic thing again. Cephalexin is not something that you would give post-amputation. It might be the only thing they've got. It's not the first thing that you would call for post-amputation.
Yeah,
and the only other crabby, nasty thing I'm going to say about the medical thing, and then I swear to God I will get off of it for the rest of the episode, is Wes was dead meat.
Agreed.
That was a giant piece of metal sticking out of his belly. That was not just a little bit of shrapnel that they could remove with some nice little forceps. And the fact that Ginny kept
there.
Well, there's bowel, there's potentially kidney, there's depending on how far over it was, there's aorta, and Ginny kept grinding it in.
Yeah.
So the amount of damage that she was doing, and the fact that she was setting him up, even if it wasn't near anything major and arterial, she was setting him up for a massive peritoneal infection. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Agreed.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm over it. I'm done with my bad. I'm sorry I was ranty, but I
have one thing to add to that.
Okay.
I have had professional phlebotomists that have not been able to get a stick in me when I'm well hydrated. I just can't believe Mo can do it like that.
Yeah, the only thing that I will say is he was young and healthy, but I agree. Young and otherwise healthy, but I will agree he was probably horribly dehydrated at that point.
Yeah.
And I know I said I was going to get off of it, but actually, I've got one more thing to say. Sorry.
It's okay. I just have a meme I need to send you later.
They were doing his appendectomy with non-sterile gloves and non-sterile instruments. How is a guy who already has a severe peritoneal infection, who is literally on death's door because of his burst appendix, going to survive that ham-handed surgery?
Yeah,
with cephalexin.
Yeah.
Okay, now I swear to God I'll get off of it. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. So it actually rolls very well into my bad, because my bad was the Wes's interrogation torture scene.
Okay.
So, one, interrogation under torture and threat of death is notoriously unreliable because the person that you are torturing can only take it for so long, and you will elicit a false confession so that the person either wants to survive or they want the pain to stop. And so they are notoriously unreliable because people will just start telling you what you want to hear.
That is very true. There is a lot of research out there to support that.
Yes. So, the torture session, for that reason alone, should not have gone on. But then when Ginny yelled, "Why do you like to paint?"
That was ridiculous, wasn't it?
I was like,
I don't know, I just do.
Yeah, I'm like, why do you like to play video games and golf?
Why do you like to watch Fear of the Walking Dead?
Why do you like to bead bracelets? Like, because it's what I do in my leisure time. Good Lord.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, and then she got a little, like, screamy harsh in the scene, and I just wasn't feeling it. And, yeah, so that was my bad.
Oh, my God, I'm so glad you said that, because that was so funny, and I would totally forgotten to bring that up, and that was hilarious. Why do you like to paint? Oh.
So, yeah, the only other thing that I would add to that is, I said this a couple of episodes because in both shows we have now seen an abundance of spray paint. So, yeah. Stock up now. The apocalypse is coming again.
Well, you know, maybe there's some product placement there that's happening that's just not as obvious as the Mountain Dew.
Krylon or Rust-Oleum or something like that. That's funny. All right. So you have my ugly. What was your ugly?
So my ugly was actually a bad ugly, and I think that Diana and Steve are going to support me on this one. June should have let Ginny die. I was so angry with her for not letting Ginny die.
I seriously was like, why aren't you just putting an axe in her head? Like, she already told the guys on the radio she got bit.
Yep.
Right?
And, by the way, going back to the emergency appendectomy, that guy turned really fast.
He did.
That guy turned super fast. So that's even more reason that she could have been like, sorry, had to put some steel in her head because she turned really fast.
Well, look how fast the people in the truck turned.
Right?
I mean, we obviously need to install some 5-point harnesses for our patients if we're going to be transporting multiples at a time.
That's reasonable.
And I mean, the appendectomy Malcolm dude should have already been strapped down to the gurney anyway.
Because
right?
midazolam is not going to keep him that still.
Yeah, no, yeah. I realized they were in a really big rush to do it, but just some precautions because there's no good timeline on how quickly these things turn or not. So, yeah. But I'm right on there with you. Like, why did she not bury that axe in her head?
Aside from the fact that it would have completely derailed the rest of the season. But yeah, no, well, really, I mean, trading Ginny's life and a hospital for John? Are you kidding me? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there would have been some flack about killing Jenny, but like I said, she had already said to the guys that she has been bitten. So it was like, yeah, there was no saving her. She was turning, you know?
She could have very easily, yeah.
And then, of course, you know, like Eric Kane said, the Pioneer guys, you know, seem to be the, you know, kind of most bland henchmen ever. So, of course, they're going to look for a new leader. You may have a slight power struggle here and there, but I honestly think that, you know, one of our team, Morgan, John, somebody, would have started stepping up and kind of taking the reins and everything. And it would have worked out way better if you would have just brained her.
I would have been totally fine with that.
Yeah, me too. I don't think I would have let her get a word in edgewise after watching her torture Wes.
Right? You'd be like, oh, you're right, you're bit. Bye!
Yeah, time to put the dog out to pasture.
Oh, and that whole thing, okay, we're soundly into writing potpourri now. You don't put a dog out to pasture. No. You put an old horse out to pasture. And she said it not once, or it was said but in twice. The episode not once but twice. And I was like, really? So we're surrounded by horses. These people are, quote, pioneers, and we can't even get our metaphor right? Okay.
Yeah. Well, and I caught myself wondering, what the heck is a polecat?
Oh.
Do we know what
a polecat is... Yeah. A polecat is like a skunk, right? I'm pretty sure a polecat is a skunk. Now we're both going to frantically Google. You can frantically Google while I find my next thing in... Go ahead.
A polecat looks like a ferret, weasel, marmot type animal.
Okay, but it is like a skunky kind of thing.
Yeah, it's in that kind of weasel family.
Yeah.
Weasel, mink, marten, ferret. Okay. Okay, that must just be a southern thing, because we call those little things like marmots up here.
Honestly, you've never heard the expression, you've never heard the term polecat?
I had, but it was one of those things where, I don't know, maybe I wasn't in a situation to question it so much, and like I was like, it's funny, I was actually just listening to something the other day, and somebody said that they had never heard the term as all get out. Like,
that's like the doctor in Code Black yesterday not looking at the patient who said that she was using Mary Jane for pain.
Mary Jane.
I'm like, really? You've never heard that expression before? You're kidding me.
Right. Yeah. And so, like, I've kind of had this thing lately where I've been like, where does that colloquialism come from? Like, but no, and there isn't actually a European polecat is an animal. So, I thought it was some sort of like euphemism because the way looks like you arm wrestled a polecat because of all the scratches from the bladed walker.
Yeah, no, and it's a thing. They're a thing.
I kind of.
Oh my God, Smalls is chasing his tail right now, which is what you're hearing.
Is he tap dancing?
He's literally chasing his tail.
I had this vision of getting into a fight with a stripper. I thought a polecat was a euphemism for stripper, and like the old like girls fight with their nails. I was just like, wait, what? So,
in the United States, the term polecat is sometimes applied to the black-footed ferret and loosely to skunks, which are only distantly related.
Ah. Okay.
All right. So when we first saw that woman running through the woods at the opening, I thought it was Sarah because I knew we were getting Sarah back this episode.
Me too.
And I was super glad that it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love Sarah, and I actually really love the June-Sarah pairing.
I do too. Yeah. So I actually, we stopped podcasting around 10 last night, and I put The World Beyond on and was kind of getting ready for bed and doing some stuff, and it ended, and I put Fear the Walking Dead on, and I fell asleep to it. So when I was drifting off.
Were you like, oh, Sarah?
I seriously thought, I was like, what? Mo's gonna shoot herself? Yeah.
Oh, no. Sarah's gonna so glad it wasn't her.
Me too. And that had to have been deliberate.
Oh, I'm sure it was. Yeah. I agree.
So I love that I'm going to have to start trying to keep track of all of the nicknames that Sarah is giving to Ginny, This episode, she called her Freckles and Captain Hook.
Oh, right. Too soon?
Yep. Too soon? Yeah, because those things are gonna pop up. She's gonna keep going with those.
Yeah.
At least I hope so.
I did think the practical effects, like the special effects for the surgery, were pretty good. I mean, the incision, the blood, I thought it was all pretty good. The CPR was okay, but it's hard to do CPR on a living, breathing
Smalls
human
did
being.
not think so.
Yeah, 0 stars. Very bad. Do not recommend. No, it's hard to do CPR on someone who's actually living and breathing because you can't actually compress the way that you're supposed to. So there we are.
Right.
I did think they called it awfully fast, though.
Yeah. Maybe it has something to do with just how sick or injured you are.
Yeah, I don't know.
How quickly you turn. I don't know. So the foreshadowing that I talked about with Ginny for this episode. So in the very beginning, we see her talking to the woman that they've chased down, and she's giving the speech about the frog who vomits out its stomach.
Right.
And the point of the story was sometimes you think something is dead and it's not. Which this episode, Ginny gets bit, and I'm like, oh my God, she's dead. And she's not.
All right. I'll take it.
So, I will call that foreshadowing by Ginny.
I have a couple of things to say about the conversation that June and Sarah have after they lose the patient. I think, was his name Malcolm?
Yeah.
So first of all, when they're having the drink and they toast to Wendell and Sarah says, "To you, Wen, wherever you are." I wish they hadn't done that. It was just so cheap. It just was not a good piece of writing.
Then to bring him back in the very end episode.
Right.
Or end of the episode. Yeah.
And
but I'm glad that we have him back.
Yeah, I am too. Although I'm still not sure that everything that June traded for John was worth the trade.
I don't think she realized what she was going to lose.
Maybe you're right. Although I have a question about that when we get to that part in the Rotting Potpourri.
Okay.
I thought it was ironic that June talked about her her feeling of being spread too thin. I thought it was ironic considering you and I just watched this movie about a county hospital where the doctors all felt that way. And I think it's ironic in the pandemic because I've actually read a couple of really good articles recently about how our healthcare providers are just spread too thin.
Yeah. And I actually thought of you and the documentary we podcast for the Real Alaskan Housewives. We podcasted Code Black. And one of the things that you liked about the movie, and we've talked about this with COVID, is it's really heartening and hopeful to see people who really do still care.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Yes.
After everything that they've been put through. There was just a nurse this morning, and I forget which morning show she was on, and she talked about how she was that literally people were literally having their last moments in life, and they still were denying that that this is COVID and that they're dying and it's all a hoax. And she's like, it just blows my mind that some of these people, like, that's their last thought is, this isn't real.
Oh. Wow, that's intense.
Yeah. I'll have to find it and send it to you.
Oh, not tonight.
So, I have a bold prediction.
Okay.
And I'm giving this like a 35% chance of happening. The John and June split up, and I thought of this before he actually physically split off from her. They were having the whole talk about, I thought we were going to do this, and she's like, but I'm going to get a hospital and blah blah blah. And every time I run, I just end up in a worse situation and blah blah blah. One of them is going to die. I don't know which one.
Oh my god! So
the other one's gonna regret not trying to talk them into leaving.
The very next thing in my notes was, John, I'm super worried that this is foreshadowing Dory's death. He just seems so desperate. And then I wrote what he said to June, which is, me. You could save me.
Yes. So I really think it's going to be John, but I can also picture in my head John feeling guilty for not trying hard enough to get her away from the pioneers. I could see this going either way, but one of the biggest complaints, and Eric Kane said it on his review tonight, is we still have too many characters on this show. So if they grow a pair again, the Walking Dead world at large grows a pair and decides to kill a main character, then John or June, I don't know which one. But
by the way, I want to say the title card, which was June, was not very flattering, and if I were Jenna Elfman, I would find that artist and I would throat punch him.
I was like, okay, are we going to find out she's got a bun in the oven?
Thank you!
She really looks like she's wearing a maternity top.
It was not even remotely flattering.
Nope.
We fully support Jenna Elfman. You're right to throat punch that artist.
Yeah. Because we have seen you not in Walking Dead costume, and you look fabulous.
Right.
So.
And she usually looks fabulous even as June with oil raining down on her head.
Which, by the way, did you notice did not touch Jenny at all? That had to be pointed out to me, but once it was pointed out to me, I was like, you're right. She has none of it in her hair. She doesn't have her face covered. There's none on her perfect little suit. She's got none on her pants. Like, no oil. It's coming down on everybody who's just covered, and like,
it's all because of that phenomenal hat. Okay.
Just like oil won't stick to her.
So, Wes, does he just like painting, or is he a tagger?
So they did the previously on and showed him and Alicia painting.
Right. I mean, we totally remember him as the person who was painting all those trees.
And so I honestly think he really just likes painting. So here's my thing about the Tanktown sabotage. If you were going to sabotage something to that extent so that it stops working, and you're dealing with very, very volatile liquids, and you want to send a message, I don't think you're gonna stick around for the boom.
Right. And the other thing is if you are trying to help all of these people who are under Ginny's thumb, are you gonna do that? Because that's pretty bad.
They seem to be so willing to die themselves, though.
That's true. That's true. She was pretty easy about. And by the way, the fact that she so easily got that guy's gun, I was like, Ginny, your guards are not very savvy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he should have some sort of privilege revoked because, yeah. Yeah, I kind of walk this line between, okay, they're obviously suicidal, so I could totally see one of them blowing themselves up to blow up Tanktown. But on the other hand, like, how many of them are out there? Like, they can't really dwindle in numbers. And I can see the chick killing herself because she didn't want to be tortured into giving out any information.
Right. That was what I was thinking.
So if I'm gonna, make Tanktown go kaboom, want to be able to follow that up with maybe another piece of sabotage somewhere. So I'm going to try and get the heck out of Dodge before it goes boom. Yeah. So I don't think, that's why I was like, why is she going in to question these people? The person who did this is probably long gone. So, yeah.
All right, we're an hour and 15 in and we're still talking about fear. This does not bode well.
Should we move on?
Let's see. Is there anything? Well, I finally thought they were actually going to suck it up and kill a major character, and I was bummed that they didn't. Not just because it was Ginny, but because they really, there is zero cojones there. Zero.
Yeah. I do have to say, comicbook.com has a great article with photos. Fear the Walking Dead mid-season finale photo reveals new scary villain. And holy crap, does it. Okay, guy is into super weird taxidermy. And
uh-oh, that sounds like a Buffalo Bill kind of thing.
Yeah, then there is a scene that is completely reminiscent of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Alicia is duct taped to a table. Dun, dun, dun.
What? Okay, this sounds ridiculous and crazy. And if those two knuckleheads ruined a fairly good first half of the season,
so
that sounds awful.
And I love my horror movies, so I'm on board for this.
I am not on board. That sounds terrible.
So go to comicbook.com and read the article.
Well, you'll have to share it. Okay. So that and just put, like, when you put it on the Biters page, just put spoiler alert.
Spoiler.
Yeah. Yep. The only other thing, and I had said that I was going to say this when we got to the point where we talked about John taking the fork in the road. Did June intentionally give him an out by not riding with him?
I don't know.
Did she have a feeling that maybe he was gonna peace out anyway? And
I don't think so, because like Eric Kane said in his review of it, it was a twist that it was just like, where did that come from? Because he loves her so much. You know, he tracked her all across, Texas, and he's, just gotten her back. And I mean, yeah, I know what Ginny made him do is eating away at him, and I do not live in his head, so I don't know how traumatic that is for him. But I can't imagine him leaving without her. Not trying to talk to her one more time and being like, look, I can't do this.
Well, I honestly cannot imagine her. I mean, is she so tortured by feeling like she has let people down that she can't just walk away and have something for herself?
I don't know.
I mean, I have a very hard time imagining her letting John go and trading her relationship with John for a hospital and trading her relationship with John to get Wendell back with Sarah. I have a hard time fathoming that.
I do also, but I mean, I don't think she's realized that that's what happened yet.
Unless she gave him an out. All right. Let us remove from fear and head into the world beyond.
Yes.
So,
season 1, episode seven.
Truth or Dare. So I'll give you my rating first.
Okay.
4.52 warm sacks of nails out of 5.
We are so close. Why warm sacks of nails?
Because that was a reference in the, that was what Elton said his stomach felt like when he took his first drink of alcohol.
Oh, I missed that. Okay.
He felt like he had warm sacks of nails in his stomach.
They were so geeky with all the drinking and yeah, their truth or dare and stuff. It was very Dawson's Creeky.
902190120 Google or something like that. What does Steve say? I have feedback from Steve, but I have to make sure to read. So, and he says it. So sorry, Steve. I know I slaughtered it again.
I gave it a very similar rating. I gave it a 4.55 encrypted CRM lunch orders. I thought that was pretty clever.
Okay, so just really quickly, our writer was Eddie Gazalian. We've talked about Eddie Gazalian before because he or she, I think it's a he, has written for Walking Dead, Choke Point, which we both thought was a really good episode, Who Are You Now, which I want to say was an Ezekiel-centric episode, Still Gotta Mean Something, which I also want to say that was Ezekiel-centric, but I might be misremembering, and then Dead or Alive or, which is more in the kind of early Negan years.
Yeah.
And then he's done lots of children's stuff, like Lilo and Stitch and lots of Disney stuff, but like television series that spawned from the movies.
Yeah.
And then, of course, our director was Michael Cudlitz again. So he directed last week and he directed this week also.
So, and I started to like it a little more last week, and then this week is my highest rated episode for the show.
This is absolutely thus far my favorite episode for World Beyond. So, you know, once again, Michael Cudlitz, I'm totally in love with you. I'm gonna be single soon. Give me a call. Just call me.
Yeah. Way to pull this out of the ditch, Michael. Not my sister, the show.
Oh no, the sister too, trust me. Especially because I'm like having chills and my throat's getting more sore and the ditch may be deep, man. Okay, so this takes us pretty quickly into our goods, bads, and uglies.
Yeah, because I think the title was pretty obvious.
Right.
Yeah. So you went first. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first again?
Oh, I'll go first again.
Alrighty.
Okay, so I really, 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 and I'm kind of stealing, I want to say, from Eric Kane, really liked the portrayal of the military. I think that, you know, this is really what we would have seen in terms of the deployment of the military in the beginning stages of the zombie apocalypse.
Yes.
I thought the use of the thermal vision cam was very clever.
Yes.
I really liked the whole depiction of that stage of the zombocalypse.
Yeah, and I love how they, like Huck's nightmares and flashbacks are kind of in that night vision thermal mode. Because you didn't get it in the beginning, and we've said just about, I think every episode has had some weird sort of camera trick like that, whether it's, you know, the outline of the walker iris, you know, or the yearbook flashback and it being kind of cartoony, and yeah, like, so I really liked that for Huck's flashback.
I did too.
Yeah.
So that's my good. It's a small good, but I liked it. Well, I mean, it's kind of a big good because, like, the overarching theme of her military experiences and how the military would have responded, I just really liked the whole thing.
I do too, and I have something in my bad for that too.
Ah, okay.
And I don't think it was bad about the show. It's just kind of, yeah, bad in general. But
you're good.
My good is the other big journey that we saw in this episode, Hope unburdening herself to Huck. And how fortuitous that, you know, Huck is sort of going through her own issues right now to, be the one that Hope unburdens herself to. And for Huck to be the one that kind of, we're saying the same thing where it's like, you don't need to tell him.
Yeah, and I was actually going to say that I really loved the piece of advice from Huck, which was, no, that's not going to change anything. You don't need to tell him that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to stop Hope. I think eventually this is going to explode in all of our faces. But
yeah, I think so too. But we've kind of gotten over that hump for now, and we can get on to some real story. And like, I feel so sorry for Elton because like he's developing the biggest crush on her, and I don't know if it's reciprocal.
Okay, like, and I've got to tell you, when they were like on the stairs together and she was like, "You're drunk," and he looks like so just young.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that hobbit is so out of the Shire. That corduroy suit is killing me. It is just killing me. He looks ridiculously like a hobbit.
Yes, he does. And his little backpack and fishing pole and yeah. Yep, agreed. But I am very glad to see that we will go forward with them at least being friends for now. And Hope not having such a Edward Cullen pained look on her face. I know I keep bringing up Twilight. Look on her face like every time she sees poor Elton or hears about the book or his mom or like, yeah. So I think we're over that for now. We'll probably revisit it someday. But I really liked that unburdening that Hope she just was like, like it all just came pouring out to Huck, and it just seemed to be the right time for both of them to have happen what happened, and I really liked Huck this episode. Like, I don't renounce everything that I said about her in the past because I felt that way at the time. They have developed her character enough that I'm on the Huck train.
I think we're both on the Huck train. We said that earlier.
So, what was your bad?
So, my bad was the whole Iris Percy. I'm not even bringing Silas into it. So first of all, that she was just so utterly clueless when he was hitting on her.
Yes.
And being like, my hands are going to be cold in like an hour.
Yes.
And then the whole like, he makes the shagadelic shack, baby. I mean, it was just nauseating. The whole thing was nauseating. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. Very, very Gilmore Girl dog. Yeah. Yep. Agreed.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I would have thought Percy would have been a little more smooth about it. Like, Iris, like, you have to, like, bang her over the head with the point, apparently. And I felt like Percy would have been a lot smoother than that. And, like, it went down #awkward.
Yeah, no, it was terrible. It was awful.
Yeah.
And she was ridiculous.
Yeah. So we have the awkward hug and the awkward date.
And I'm gonna give a shout out to Diana from Aim for the Head, because I was listening to their discussion of last week's episodes, and she actually talked about how this actress really doesn't have a lot of emotional range and is just not as skilled an actress as the young woman who is playing Hope. And I would agree. Iris is lovely to look at. She is a beautiful young woman. The young woman who is playing her is not a great actress.
So I think the character of Iris is like, okay, this actually gets into my ugly. Do you want my ugly? Because you're supposed to go first. But
so have you already given us your bad?
No, I haven't. Sorry.
Okay. No, I don't want your ugly yet. You have to give us your bad first.
So my bad is that I'm actually going to be the bad guy again. you know me, if you've listened to a number of our podcasts, and especially Train to Busan, I kind of like to put myself in the shoes of the bad guy and be like, no, that's totally plausible. I think that I would probably do that, like, so the whole Marines going in and they're like, okay, we're going to go in and we're going to shoot the zombies. And then it's like, oh, new orders, shoot anything that moves. And, I'm like, they don't know what's going on. They don't know how this is spreading. This could be some sort of gas leak that's causing this, some sort of, and everyone's affected and they're all going to turn, and we need to contain this, 12 city block area. And if we can contain it in this area, then, we don't have this outbreak. And so I think you would go in there and cauterize the area. And I mean, it's what they talked about doing in the movie, in the book Hot Zone, when they had a hantavirus outbreak here in the U.S. They were talking about leveling a
Oh my
city.
gosh. So I haven't watched the movie, which I know you've watched the movie. It's been a really long time since I read the book, so I didn't remember that.
Yes. So, I mean, the military talked about leveling a small American town to contain the virus.
That is just horrible.
Horrifying. It's horrifying, but the needs of the many outweigh.
Oh my God.
Like, I get it. Like, but what do? You're under orders. Like, everyone else is going along with it. I get the orders, but I also very much get what Huck did. Like, it was, like, the whole thing was just horrible. Like, your choices are to shoot innocent civilians or your friends who are gonna murder the innocent civilians. Like, there are no good choices here. And so my
okay, go ahead.
Like, this was a bad scene. I'm just like, this was bad all the way around. Like, there were no good choices here.
So that leads right into my ugly, which is, yay, I'm so glad we got Huck's backstory, and I loved her, and she was totally convincing.
Yep.
And B, I loved that she made the choice to turn on her platoon and save the civilians.
I do too.
I was totally down with it.
I'm glad that we got to see her, even if it was just briefly, like, leading them out of those tunnels. Like, yeah. It wasn't just like, oh, I killed everyone and you just assume that I, took everyone to safety. But yeah, like I said, I really loved her interaction with Hope this episode. I think they both needed each other this episode. So yeah.
So you're ugly.
So my ugly, going back to the whole Iris's character thing, my ugly is her answer for the truth or dare. If you could do anything right now, what would you do? I mean, you don't have to answer, but think about it. And her answer, like, I get it. She's an artist. I get it. But she has the dorkiest answer. Like, it wouldn't be to, like...
I honestly don't even remember her answer.
Her answer was visit the Louvre.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. And while I think the Louvre is awesome, I would love to go there someday. If I could do anything in the world right now, I don't think that's my first choice. I mean, I like art, but I just, like, ride a roller coaster, drive a really fast car, climb to the top of something.
All I can tell you is that I'm so dead inside from 2020, I can't even tell you what my answer to that would be.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, God, I don't even remember what fun is.
Not if I could do anything in the world right now, it would be not end up in the newly ordered mobile morgue in Anchorage. If I could do anything in the world right now, that would not be it, or that would be not it, or you know what I mean.
If I could do anything right now in the world, I would track down the person who possibly gave my sister COVID and be a very terrible person. I don't know, put Nair in her shampoo or something. Super glue in her contact lens drops.
Oh, that's bad.
Didn't say I was gonna like kill her or anything. Don't call the police. Just like maybe post her info on TikTok. I don't know.
All right, we're totally derailed.
We are.
Were you gonna say anything more about Iris? Because I derailed.
No. I just think that.
Do you think it is bad writing, or do you think it's the actress, or do you think it's both?
I think the character of Iris is a super sheltered, super nerdy chick. I mean, Hope had some really bad crap happen to her when she was a kid, and she turns out to be the one that like is making the liquor, behind the school and like breaking all the rules and stuff. And Iris is just this very studious, and like she makes her sister her waffles in the morning, and she does her homework, and she has her art, and she journals, and like she's just very dorky. I like her. I think her and I would be friends. Not great friends, but like, she's dork. Yeah.
I would like a little bit more emotional range out of her before I committed to a friendship.
She's got a lot of growing up to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, the end. What do you think?
Okay, so first of all, I just want to make sure, and I think that I'm right, but I didn't miss an end credits scene about CRM, correct?
Nope, there was none. And I was very disappointed in that. That was actually almost my bad, because I think that should be their bag, baby. We're still in Austin Powers mode from Capes and Lunatics. I really think that like that should have been their shtick this season, is just like at the end of every episode, we're just going to get this weird little snippet from the CRM community. And they didn't do that.
Yeah, so the end.
Mm-hmm. Tony's dead. Percy's missing. Silas is in a stall with a bottle of alcohol and bloody fists.
And so, I don't know.
Really? I have a lot of thoughts and feelings.
I don't know, because I'm kind of feeling like he's set up.
Yes. Absolutely 100%. I believe that Silas was set up.
And I feel like I'm not sure. I mean, I'm kind of feeling like Percy is the one who set him up.
Of course. Well, I believe that Percy and Tony set him up, because I don't think Tony's dead.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
So there was such massive destruction to the head.
Exactly. Like, what did we do last episode in Fear the Walking Dead, but we beat the walker's face in because they didn't quite look enough like Al and Austin Emilio. Dwight.
Okay, that is a crazy theory. I like it.
And plus, I was like, okay, that walker looks like a little slimmer than Tony did. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Bold. You are just full of bold predictions tonight, aren't you?
I am.
I'm going to call you Brian.
It keeps going. Okay, so let's break this down. These two are grifters. And all of a sudden, they're sharing their cool little map trick that they learned about CRM. And then they find out that Iris has this other map, and there's some other cool stuff that they find out about. And all of a sudden, Tony's like, you know what? I think we're going to stick with you guys. It sounds like you really got something going for you, and we'll just see like what happens. And this is going to be great. And then he shares this lovely story about how his nephew came to live with him. And at first he was all excited about the money. And then day one, he's like, I would give my life for that boy. Like, just, it was amazing. It was very heart touching. And we have Percy, who is playing a horrible game of truth or dare because he totally takes the wrong turn, and he asks Hope, what's the worst thing that you've done? Now, mind you, this kid could read people in the sandbox. So he knows that that is going to do something. It's going to bother Hope. And so he asks her something that's going to upset her, and she storms off. Meanwhile, she's had a drink. The other kids have had a drink, except for Silas. And Tony is sharing a drink with Felix. Everyone's drinking. And now we have Felix, who is off somewhere. We have Hope, who is off somewhere. Hey, Iris, do you want to go on a date that I totally stand you up for, and then you fall asleep after I've given you something to drink?
And I make it super, super magical, so it seems awesome, and it seems like I did the super wonderful magical thing, and I didn't really stand you up?
Right. I've been murdered by your friend Silas, who doesn't drink, who's found with a bottle next to him. No, that corpse is not Tony. Tony and Percy have taken off, and yeah, they're grifters. They're con men. This is what they do. Now, poor Silas. How are we ever going to find out that he is innocent?
Well, so here is the one question that I have that it shows not so much a flaw in your logic, but maybe a flaw in the story. How did they know Silas's story, or how did they read Silas enough to know to set him up like that?
Because he's always the skeptical one. He does not like Percy. He's not down with those two traveling with them.
Well, no, but the way that they set him up, I mean, like, with the weapon and with, like, making him be the guilty... I don't know. That's the only place where I feel like the story falls apart. Not necessarily your logic, because I do think he was set up, and I like the idea that that's not actually Tony dead.
Yeah.
But I just am wondering how they got his story.
It may have just been a weird coincidence. It's, it's the big quiet guy, that is shy even within his own group, and he's, I don't know. But, so, he's found with the alcohol. We know that he doesn't drink. I don't know how they got him in there with the blood on his hand. I don't know how they set it all up to where Silas isn't going to be like, no, they shoved me in the stall, and then they brought a walker in here and smashed its face in and laughed as they gleefully left with all of our crap or whatever. I don't know how that's going to play out, but so one of the very first scenes that you see, and it's just such kind of a throwaway, because Huck brought that Mountain Dew back to Felix, but she also brought a pair of boots back for Silas. And they're pretty distinctive boots. They're pretty durable, pretty cool, like marine issue combat boot type thingies. I have a feeling that those are going to play into his proof of innocence. And I don't know why. It's kind of just because it was just kind of a weird thing that it's like, she saw these boots and she's like, oh my God, they're the same size as Silas. This is awesome. And gives Silas the boots. Like, it's just, why not grab the backpack and give that to, Hope, or like, just Silas got a pair of boots, and it was made very pointedly that we saw that and he was excited about it. I really think the boots are going to come into play in his proof of innocence.
Very interesting.
Yeah, this is what happens when you give me an extra hour and 15 minutes.
We're talking forever, which is, not surprising, but, cool.
Yeah. So, that really is all that I have. It was just super exciting.
Oh, well, I had some other stuff in Writing Potpourri, so
alrighty,
hang in there with me.
Lay on.
So we actually get Huck's real name, which is Jennifer Malik.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, you're a former Marine. If you are listening, help me out here. What is the pin that she got? She called it an EGA, and I didn't look it up. So I'm curious about that. I'm also curious to know, I'm pretty sure she talks about that morning in Devil's Pass with her military buddy. Was that a hookup? Did they have a hookup, or was it like, I'm a tough Marine who saved your bacon that one morning in Devil's Pass? I kind of got the feeling that there was more between them.
I think that there's more between them because it was pointed out to me by my other half that he had the same scar on his face that she carved into into her face.
And I was right, wasn't I? Didn't I say that scar was getting more and more prominent?
Yes.
So I was like, haha.
Yep, you can see that he has that scar, and she carved the exact same one.
I completely missed that.
Yep.
Good catch, other half.
Yep. I cannot take credit for that.
I am also going to say Huck knows how to aim for the head. Because she was the one who, when they first went in, was like, get him in the head. That seems to work.
Girl's seen a horror movie in her time. EGA is Eagle Globe Anchor.
Ah, okay. Well, there you go. See, yeah. I am going to call you Brian. I was really bummed out, and I'm not going to belabor it too much, but the whole, insertion of the guy who appeared out of nowhere, who was bit, who took Hope hostage very briefly, that just seemed like a plot device that was really out of nowhere and didn't really go anywhere.
So I think Eric Kane put this somewhere in his review that it kind of sounded like CRM was kind of going around and taking out the smaller communities of people. And that actually leads me to something that it's one of those that I can't say that I'm predicting this. It's just a thought in my head that could possibly be the reason. So they're waiting for the girls to get there. They're trying to test some vaccination immunization thing for the zombie apocalypse. They harp on this, we're doing this for the future. This isn't for us. We don't matter. This is for the future. I kind of have this feeling that it's almost like everybody else who's not working towards this future is meaningless, and we should dispose of them because they're a threat. And we are going to be a society where we vaccinate ourselves and we are immune to this, and we are going
right.
to build this. We're going to build the world back up stronger than it was. We're going to eradicate this. We're the chosen few, or our children will be the chosen few. But I have a feeling that it was just sort of made as a point because he was very scared of the CRM. And so it was made as kind of a point that they're still around. They're still around killing people. They're still bad guys.
Yeah, so. I just kind of felt like I don't know. It was not a plot point that was well utilized. It just kind of was plunked in the middle.
Yeah.
It was that middle part.
Yeah.
Although I will say that I did kind of watch Huck talking him down, and I was like, dang, she is really good at calm, cool, and collected.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I thought so, too. P.S. I really like her new hair better than her old hair.
Although, I don't know, she looks good with both. She looks good with both.
I didn't like the cut, but I did learn that even women have hair length standards in the Marines, because I argued that they didn't, but specifically the Marines, they do. Their hair cannot be outside of their helmet, so basically they have to have a helmet cut. It can't be any more than 4 inches long. It can't go over your ears. It can't go down to your eyebrows.
So actually hers was even too much in the shortcut that she had then.
It was.
Huh, I didn't know that.
She was a little shaggy.
I did not know that.
I didn't either, because I was like, no, there's no, because women in other military, like the Army and the Navy and things like that, they can like just put it up and away, like in a bun or a French twist or something like that, or you know, French braid, whatever, and keep it out of your face and, you know, not fuss with it. But no, specifically Marine women cannot have hair longer than 4 inches. Fun fact.
I don't think I have anything else. I put at the very end of my notes, other than no end scene. Did I miss it? No. This was the best so far, despite the Mountain Dew moment.
So I do have to say, I was going to give you guys a funny fact about Mountain Dew. I could not confirm it. So this might be an internet old wives' tale. It was once said that Mountain Dew could be used to fool a urinalysis drug test. It cannot anymore because it has no creatine in it, and they test for creatine in urinalysis. So it may at one time have been used to fool drug tests. But I'm like, you know what? If your stuff's that color and fizzy, you need to drink more water, take less vitamin B. Yeah, something wrong with you.
And you know, I can't argue that about urine drug screens because I don't do them all that often. So there we are.
I just wondered, like, how many other liquids they went through, like tea and apple juice and Sprite and lemonade, like all these other things that we could, like, you know, take one of those little dipsticks for pH or testing or whatever. And yeah. I neither endorse or condone that sort of behavior. Housewives will not be responsible for you failing your drug test because you tried to cheat.
And neither one of us can give you good advice to the positive or negative of whether or not it actually works, so don't risk it.
Just move to Oregon where drugs are decriminalized now. All right, that's all I've got.
Me too, and it's really late, and I have to get up and study for my COVID test in the morning, so...
And we have podcasted 3 nights in a row. Yay, us!
And I will get it together, and I will get this and our episode of The Real Housewives up tomorrow night, so there will be 2 opportunities to listen to The Real Housewives of Alaska.
Which is finally trickling.
Right, I was going to say one as the Biters Girls, one as the Real Housewives of Alaska.
Yep. So Real Housewives of Alaska is starting to trickle down into the different podcasting channels. I found it on Beyond Pod the other day, so you can listen there if that is where you get your podcasts. If you don't have an iTunes account because you don't have an Apple product.
And there we are.
And there we are. All right, everybody. We don't know what we're podcasting next. We have a good idea.
For Real Housewives, you mean?
For Real Housewives,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
We're getting down to the last couple of episodes for the mid-season, so.
Which, I mean, gosh, it's only going to be one night that we're only doing one Walking Dead series, but it'll be kind of nice.
Yeah.
I did see, and I shared on Biters, so Aim for the Head posted that Walking Dead is coming back next Sunday, or not Walking Dead, good Lord, Talking Dead is coming back next Sunday. So make sure you are all caught up on Fear and World Beyond, because Chris is going to talk both shows with cast members from both. I'm so glad that I looked at that, because that reminded me that I have feedback from Steve.
Ah, yes.
And I have feedback from a fellow that emailed Southgate Media, so I'm looking for that info. All right, so this is a guy named Ron. Ron, thank you for letting us know. He wanted to say that since you didn't mention it in the last podcast I listened to, I'm notifying you just in case you're not aware. Talking Dead for non-payers of Premiere is available on the following Friday night / Saturday morning.
Oh.
So I still don't find it as an option when I search on Amazon Prime and I'm getting my Walking Dead or my AMC through Amazon, but I'll have to do some more scouting, especially since now they've actually advertised that they're coming back.
So, yeah, I wonder, because I have a series recording set up for it on Sling, but I don't have any new episodes, so it almost makes me wonder if maybe there's a difference in the name or something that I might have to go search for it that way.
Yeah, I don't know. And now, Steve, you stinker, where did you send your feedback?
It was on Facebook.
Was it a private messenger to us, or?
I think it was. So he says, should read with a slight southern drawl.
Oh, good. I'm going to let you do it then.
My dearest Dianne and Marnbug, like teeth rotting out of mouths, the first halves of the Fear the Walking Dead and 90210 Ghoul, I said that wrong, are coming to a close. I must say that I have been mildly surprised at an overall improvement in Fear, and disappointed at the roaring dumpster fire that is 90210 Ghoul. Sadly, it seems that both shows now competing with each other to see which one can move the slowest. I can only hope that the B season will pick up the pace plot-wise. In Bury Her Next to Jasper's Leg, I loved that June and John had totally switched places. June is now the one that wants to stay and try to overcome her problems, while John is the one who wants to run. I totally agree with you gals that the biggest problem on Fear right now is still Virginia. I don't understand how and why she is in charge. You and me both. Dianne, I know this statement will probably cause you to throw charts at all over your Unabomber-style shack. But June should have let Virginia die.
No, I was right there with him.
For the good of all of us, right? No, we were totally on board with that.
Yes.
On 90210 Ghoul, I felt that The Truth or Dare is the best episode of the season to date.
And we agreed there.
Yep. And that that's entirely due to the Huck flashback scenes. As great as they were, my enjoyment of those scenes were definitely bittersweet, since I firmly believe that those scenes are the story that Fear should have been telling.
Aha! I stole it from Steve. I didn't steal it from Eric Kane. Steve, you are absolutely right.
Life during the beginning of the outbreak. Totally agreed. My other half said the same thing. All right. We go on. And speaking of Huck, Monbug, I would like to take your QAnon-inspired Huck conspiracy theory to even greater heights. So far, a lot of us have assumed that Colonel Kublecki's, I think that's how you say it with a southern accent.
Oh, yeah. Okay, fair. Yeah.
It was apostrophe S. So I'm doing my best.
You're doing a wonderful job.
So I subscribe to a man on TikTok who has this very same accent. He's from New Orleans. He is wonderful. Julia Armand's daughter, Isabel, the delightful Cindy Lemon, from Fear. Here's my theory. What if her daughter is really Huck?
Ooh.
Also, what are the chances that Huck killed Tony? Scott adds it. Think about it. In this episode, we see Huck in a flashback and present day able to kill folks. Her Marine buddies and her boyfriend and Walter with cold-blooded ease. And Tony seemed to be hopeful that he could decode the CRM notebooks. Thoughts? I know. Mind blown. You're welcome. Can't wait to hear your take. Until next time, take it one dead day at a time and always aim for the head. Peace. S. Postscript. Since I know that you are no longer reading my feedback on your podcast, I am not entirely sure why I'm writing this post. Well, Steve, I not only read it, but I read it in an amazing Southern accent. You
were wonderful. You did a way better job than I could have, and you did not break character. Well done.
Yeah. You know, for somebody who doesn't like kids, I actually do that whole reading books to kids very well because I do the voices. It's too bad that talent's wasted on me. There's a lot of talent that's wasted on me, though, to be fair. But reading amazing posts like that from our friend Steve is not a wasted talent, and that was a good time. Thank you, Steve. All right, everybody. If you made it this far, congratulations. That was an amazing way to end the episode. So,
yes, it was.
Until next week, just remember, take it one dead day at a time. Toodaloo, everybody.
Have a wonderful week, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.